Oh, cheers. This is so exciting. Oh my God.
Hi my loves and welcome back to Love Potluck. I'm so excited. I've got another guest in the studio.
Hi.
Welcome, Amy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Guys, Amy, this is the first time we've seen each other. We just figured it out. First time we've seen each other for 13 years.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
Oh my God.
It's pretty scary. It doesn't really... well, it does and it doesn't. But like I've still got memories of us that are like still in my mind, you know?
Yeah,
they're not so long ago that they've like faded completely.
Yeah, and it feels like yesterday, but like so much has happened within that time.
Yeah. So Amy was actually my old cheerleading captain.
Yeah.
Go Coyotes!
Big red.
Yeah, that's literally how we met.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned before that I used to do cheerleading, and when I started uni, I was like, gotta join the club. And then you were our captain, and we had some fun times.
Oh my God, we had an absolute ball.
Yeah, we went on tour as well. So there's a thing when you're cheerleading, you go on tour with all like the rugby boys.
The sports teams,
sports teams, that was quite fun, wasn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. They were definitely some memories.
Those rugby boys, some of the stuff that they did is enough to put me off rugby boys for life.
I'm so glad you say that. Well, I did date rugby boys for a long time, but now I'm like, no, it has to end. No, it has to end now.
They would do stuff like, when they had this t-shirt, didn't they? Do you remember? Like a t-shirt of shame or something.
That t-shirt was rotten.
And they would like put it in all these disgusting places, and then whichever guy like lost the challenge of the day or whatever had to wear it. Yeah. But they were like peeing on it.
It was disgusting. It smelled so bad.
I'm pretty sure it was on a dead animal at one point.
Oh my God,
there was rumours of that. Yeah. Was it true?
Oh, I don't know. It was just disgusting.
It was disgusting. And they were like peeing in caps. They were doing stuff in pools, like not just like our rugby boys, but like all of them.
Like,
They were absolutely feral.
It was a wild time, guys. Wild.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God, I'm actually having like flashbacks and all the stuff that happened, which I wouldn't be delving into.
What goes on tour stays on tour.
Exactly. But do you remember the year after we actually did a complete flip, and we ended up going to Amsterdam and like visiting Anne Frank's house?
Yes.
Like, how different could two tours be?
Oh, we went very cultural with a side of marijuana.
Oh my God, yeah. We took...
oh my God.
We're mainly eating the brownies.
Yes.
All of my pictures from that tour were just like this.
We're just,
We were all so stoned, weren't we?
And I think the one thing that stands out is like, there was one day we went for food, but we went for like a McDonald's immediately to a Burger King. And then we were like, right, let's go for an Indian. And we were like, what's the time? 45 minutes and gone past.
It was wild. I wanted Amy to come on. So basically, when I first started the podcast, or like not long after the podcast, you sent me a story, which was pretty crazy, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Oh.
And I always remembered that. And then I was like, it would be great to have you on. But then I feel like you were live at the minute. Like, obviously, just from a bystander on Instagram. There's been a lot going on. So, what's been happening? So, I feel like the last time we kind of spoke, you were in Australia.
Yes. So, I've been in Australia for 3 years. And I've kind of done a complete 180. I don't have at the moment a visa to go back. And I could have been sponsored and I turned it down, and we're probably going to get into this more. Yeah. You know, the intuition is just flowing. So I've come home and we're just kind of going to see what happens.
So how come you went to Australia in the first place? Because that's a big move.
Yes. And I think it's one of those things I'd wanted to go for years. And I think even from like my teens, I was like, I'm going to go live in Australia. Home and away, neighbours. I was a big fan.
Yeah.
And later found out they completely lied about the weather, because I turned up in Sydney and it was like the coldest winter they'd had in like 40 years.
See, I started to dab in this last winter. I was like really depressed and I was like, I need to move to Australia.
Yeah.
Like that's just the number one answer. And online was telling me like it's actually not always sunny there. I was like,
no, it is not always summer in Summer Bay, people. All right, remember that one.
Take the episode.
But yeah, I'd always wanted to go, and I kind of finished with my like most previous relationship, and I was like, right, I'm gonna go traveling. I'm gonna do something. Didn't end up going to Australia. Done like a hop, skip, and a jump to Dubai.
Also, for me, a number one,
Yeah.
I'm in crisis, let me move to Dubai.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just really appealing
And
for
it
that
was
reason.
so easy to do. Like within
Really?
5 weeks, I think it was, I had a job. I had everything was set up for me and I was ready to go. I literally just turned up. There was an apartment there. A job was there. Like it was all just very easy.
So you do teaching?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, when I was looking, I was doing the hostess because that's the same thing where they set you up for a flat.
Yeah.
So they do that with teaching as well.
Yeah, they do. So you get like your apartment, obviously you get your job. The only thing you pretty much pay for is bills, and that's your internet and your gas and your electric and AC.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it's tax-free.
The best. That's one of the biggest pros. That and the sun.
Yes. Oh my God, the sun. Yeah. And I literally just stopped off in Dubai on the way back from Australia because I was like, I need some sun. Bali wasn't giving this time round. So it's like, I just need a little bit of a fix and then I can come home.
Bali wasn't giving. So,
I sound ridiculous saying that.
So you went to Bali travel because when I went to Bali, it's full of Australians.
Yeah. So what happened was I'd obviously left Australia. And I was like, I'm going to go to Bali. I'm going to have like another Eat, Pray, Love moment. And I got there. I saw 2 of my friends. But when I wasn't with them, I cried the whole time.
Oh, really?
So I was in Canggu for a week. Just went out, cried. And I was like, oh my God, I need to do something. So I went to a silent retreat for 6 nights.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was again another interesting part, and we can get back to that. But it was then I went to Ubud and it just rained the whole time. I think a lot of the weather just wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And it was making me espresso depresso even more.
Yeah. So I'm going to backtrack. When you said you did a 180 on your life, what was happening at that time for you to initially make the move?
Oh, so when I went to Dubai, I think it was all my 20s, I was like, I'm going to go and live abroad and I'm going to go traveling and I'm going to do this. I'd done none of it. And it got to that breakup and I was like, right, I have to do this by myself because if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it.
Yeah.
And I was turning 30. So it was all just kind of one big roller coaster of emotions. And I was like, right, I'm just going to bet on myself. I'm just going to do it and we'll just see what happens. And I've not been home since.
See, I love that.
Yeah.
That's very encouraging, I think, for people, because I do think sometimes you get a pull for something and you can't explain it. Like you've had that since your 20s.
Oh my God, yeah.
You've always known that you need to go abroad.
Yeah.
But obviously, maybe it took a little bit longer than you thought, but the timing always works out, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the one thing for me was I always thought I needed somebody to go with. So I was always like, do you want to come with me? Do you want to go? Do you want to do this? And everyone, like, life just moves on.
Yeah.
And then you blink and you turn in 30 and you're like, oh my God, I've not done anything that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to have to do it. And I don't think I told people until I had a job. Because I was like, if I just keep telling people, it's never going to happen. And I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go, but I don't know when I'm going to go. And I was like, I have to be confident that it's actually going to work out.
In my head, I'm like, well, I am independent. And I like love, being about, like, can do things by myself. And I was chatting to my friend and I was like, I actually realised I don't know how true that is now that I live by myself in London, and I'm like, oh, I actually do want people around me. And then I look back and I'm like, well, I never did move to Dubai. So it's hard.
It is hard.
I always thought that I was the type of person to do that, but then I've never done it. So,
but like, there's still plenty of time to do it. And I think like, when you look back, you've done other milestones as well. So it might not just be, something that you do right now, but it could be something you do in the future.
Yeah, I just think it hit them and you're like, I always thought I needed somebody to do it with. And I've that's what my feelings been. Like, even though I'm like, yeah, I can do that by myself, there's always a part of me that's like, oh, I don't know, I would actually quite like somebody there with me.
No, and I do get that. I totally get that. Because I think for me, that was one of the things, because like, you hear so many horror stories about going travelling. And I'm I thought I was a cautious person. I think I've got less cautious the older I've gotten. But I was like, right, I need to have a friend with me and I need to have this amount of money and I need to do this and I need to do this. And then it turns out I needed absolutely none of those things. But I think it takes you to a point of like, I had to stop saying to myself, I'm going to go and do this, I'm going to go and do this, and just not following through. Because to me, like, it really annoys me about myself that I can say all these things. Because it was the same with teaching. I was like, oh, I'm going to go and be a teacher. I'm going to go and be a teacher. That went on for 5 years before I was like, I have to do it now or I'm never doing it.
It's so scary how quick time passes.
Oh, God, yeah.
And what I think is you always have an intuition for something. And if that intuition sticks around and, like, that goal that you're on, you'll always end up doing it because you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, it needs scratching, so you might as well just scratch it. And like, the sooner, as you can.
100%. And I think it's one of those things, sometimes, like, you get, like, a seed planted in you, and it's like, right, it's come from somewhere. Like, it's either my future self or, like, the universe. But, like, it has to happen at some point because the universe will just knock things out and make you do it. Because even when COVID happened, I got made redundant from Dubai. Like, I lost my job and I had to move home. So then that was when I was like, right, well, I'd already put in an application for Australia and things like that. But, like, I just wasn't meant to be, I don't think, in that school. Because then I went to another school and had a completely different experience. Yeah. And it was actually a school I turned down 2 years before. And I was like, oh my God, if I had done this 2 years ago, I would have still met all these people. And I would have still had a good experience. But, like, from me doing different things, I've kind of had an even better experience by having the mixture of the two.
Yeah, definitely. I always say that. It's like, things always work out as they should.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely have that belief. Do you want to talk about the breakup?
I'll talk about anything, Sadie.
Okay. Because I'm going back again. But yeah, talk us through that breakup. So it must have been, like, I think you called it the breakup. So I feel like everyone kind of in their life goes through the breakup. Yeah. Like one monumental breakup. Yeah. So yeah, what was that like?
And I think, like, for me, it was so different to, like, all my other breakups, because this wasn't we break up, we get back together, we break up, we get back together. Like, we were together for 2.5 years. We rented a house together. We'd been on plenty of holidays together. And the day I left the house, I kind of knew, I was like, I'm not coming back. I rang my mum and I was like, oh, it's the school holidays. Like, so-and-so isn't doing anything right now. Like, I'm just going to come home for a week. The week turned into a few months. Like, I think it was one of those things, it all just kind of, when I made the decision to leave, I didn't realise that was going to, like, catapult everything else. I thought, yeah, maybe we're going to get back together. And then something happened and I was like, we're definitely not getting back together. And there was things that I needed to see for myself. And I think that was the thing. I was like, I need to do different. I need to do better for myself. And not in the case of, like, him, but in the case of, like, me and my goals and my values and, like, my just life in general. And yeah, it just all kind of went from there, really.
Were you thinking about breaking up with him for a while?
So, oh God, it had been on the rocks for probably like 2-3 months. And I actually can't believe I am talking about this because we broke up 6 years ago. Like, I'd done the maths. It might be even more than that. It was like 2018. But, some things you still reflect
and also
over.
It's the start to your life now, like to your next phase.
Yeah, it was an absolute trajectory.
And I was listening to, Perry Edwards, and she was like, did you see she was still talking about Zayn? She said, when I talk about it and people say, oh, get over it, but she was like, it was my life. Like, it still happened to me.
I'm glad you say that, because sometimes I feel a bit like that. I'm like, oh, I don't want to keep talking about it. But, like, to me, it was the whole start of my new life. A life where I could actually just depend on myself. Like, I've still obviously got my friends and things, but I could actually back myself. Whereas before, again, I always felt like I needed somebody, had to, follow through all the social norms, and then I just threw it all out the window.
Yeah, I love that. And also, we haven't heard it before, so...
There we go, that's true.
So it's all new. It's new for us.
Yeah, been on the rocks since about the May, and I don't know, like, we weren't vibing anymore. I think a lot had happened, and a lot of things happened very quickly. Like, we'd got together, we moved in within like 3 months of knowing each other, and I think, like, when it was good, when it was bad. But at this point, like, I was coming to the end of my contract with my school, and when things end and you can just, it's like when you buy your toiletries, they all end at the same time and you're like, oh my God, I've got to buy all this again, right, okay. It was kind of a bit like that. Like, we had a rolling contract for our house, so that could have come to an end at any point. I didn't have a job to go back to in September. And I think it was just very easy by that July for us to just cut all ties with each other. And it is kind of sad the way that it all happened, because it all happened over the phone. Because we obviously didn't live near each other. And it was one of those things of like, oh, well, maybe we'll still get back together. Like, maybe this is just a blip. And then I went back to my house. Again, intuition does never steer you wrong, guys, because I was on my way back from Leeds. I was actually at a cheerleading course. And I was like, right, I can either take the exit or I can carry on going straight home. And I was like, no, take the exit. Just take it. You can just sleep in your house and you can just figure the rest out tomorrow, because I'd gone out the night before, so I was a little hungover as well.
And so you hadn't planned to go there?
No.
You hadn't told him you
No,
were going there?
hadn't said anything. And I knew he was out because he was away for something. So I was like, he's not even going to be there, and I'll just figure out what's going to happen. I'll let him know like the next day. Got home, I can only assume he'd had like some sort of rage of a party, because there was like Budweiser everywhere. There was like, you could smell the smoke in the house from the smoking, and I was just like, oh, right, okay, whatever. Went upstairs, there was just more things that I wish I could unsee, but I can't. And I was just like, right, I need out. I literally made the decision there. I was like, I need out. And I kind of gaslit myself, because I'd gone into my bathroom and there was all these toiletries in my bathroom mirror, and I was like, do I use micellar water? No, I don't. Do I? And then so I saw like shampoo, and I was like, do I use that shampoo? No, somebody else had moved in.
That is so
Yeah.
wild. I can't.
Yeah, how long they'd moved in for, I have no idea. It could have been a week, it could have been a month, I have no idea, because I can't even remember anymore as to what scale. I knew we broke up, and I'd done that within like maybe 3-4 weeks, something like that. Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
The train was moving fast, yeah. And I decided there and then, I rang my friend who lived around the corner, and I was like, you need to come help me, I'm moving out. I called another girl, but she was like, I can't, about my grand's birthday, and I was like, don't worry about it, it's absolutely fine.
Like, screw your gran baby now. There's shampoo in the bathroom. Your gran can wait another year.
And to be fair, I spoke to her about it like years ago, and she was like, no, I was really adamant I was coming to help you. And I was like, no, it's your grand's birthday, like, you're okay. She's like, no, I really wanted to. But one of the other girls came round, and no joke, the ladder was down from the attic, the boxes were being thrown down, and she turned up, she's like, what's going on? I was like, just catch it all. I was like, I'm leaving. And I was just packing everything up.
I love that.
And I only had a little Corsa, like a Vauxhall Corsa, right? So I had to do multiple trips to this house. So I packed a load up, drove back to my mum and dad's, was on the phone to another one of the girls, and she was like, what time are you leaving tomorrow to go and fetch the rest of your stuff? And I was like, I'm going to have to leave early. I know he's coming back in the afternoon, so I'm probably going to have to leave like 5 o'clock. And she's like, all right, come pick me up and I'll be ready and I'll be waiting and I'll come help. And I was like, oh.
Smashed it. You can always rely on your besties.
You actually can.
A good friend is just the best gift in life.
And I think it was one of those things like, you know, people just pop up and down, and they just come when you need them, and you'll be there for them when you need them. And it was kind of one of those moments. Yeah. So then, we went back the next day. I went to pick up the rest of my stuff. I have no idea what the neighbours were thinking, because at 7:30 in the morning, I had a hammer just whacking the chest of drawers out, trying to get them in the car. Why I decided I needed the chest of drawers, I don't know. But I was
probably
like,
good to get some range out to the hammer.
I was literally hammering it. And my friend was like, can we leave some dead fish in the bed? Can we do this? Can we do this?
Yes, I've seen stuff like
that.
And
like now, I'm like, oh, that would have been so funny. Because I saw one the other day, and it was like, put some milk in a spray bottle and soak it in water and just spray it on everything. Like, don't know if you guys want an idea.
That's a good tip.
Saw it on TikTok. You've got to get rid of everything apparently, because it smells so bad.
That's really good to know.
Don't know if it's something I still would do. But I was like, no, we're going to walk away. I was like, because I think the pain of him slowly realising that I have moved out without him knowing, because I literally locked the door, posted the keys to the letterbox. Yeah, it was so last minute. And we did eventually have to speak, because we had a joint bank account, and like I had to get my name off that. That was a whole other dilemma. But eventually we did get to a point, I think maybe a couple of months down the line, where we both had like a conversation. He apologised for the way that he had behaved and things like that. And I'm sure I must have apologised for my part in everything.
Sorry for the chest of drawers. Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah, maybe. But it was fine after that. Well, I say it's fine. I've not spoken to him since. And there was another thing, like, again, TikTok. If they're not meant to be in your life, you will never have them as part of it again.
I've said that on here before, and I so believe that. Do you know, I've got an ex, right? We used to work together. When I started my new job, a building that he was working in is opposite on the street. I bumped into my old boss, I bumped into my old team, like I bumped into so many people. Yeah. Never bumped into him.
It was never meant to be.
Never meant to be. Okay, I obviously have a lot of questions about this move out. At first one, did you feel so good for doing that? Or was there any, regrets or overthinking, or was it?
I don't think it was regret. I think it was full, I've just blown up my life. Oh my God. Because I remember pulling up to my house, I rang my mum and dad and I was like, can you come outside and help me? And they were taking a bit longer than I would have thought they would have. And I just remember thinking, I'm either going to pass out, I'm going to throw up, or my heart's actually going to explode. I was God. I do not know what is happening. And sometimes you can think, I can feel it now. Like, it's all just,
really?
It's still there. So I've probably got more work to do. But I think it took me a long time to actually realise, oh my God, you've done this. Because it took me, I wasn't working at the time. And I think it was one of those things I took a long time to grieve. As in, I took 2 weeks when my mum and dad went on holiday and I was like, I'm just going to do absolutely nothing. One of the girls came down, we went on a night out. But I was like, I'm not going back to work. I'm just going to work through all my feelings. That's when I started journaling. I was already meditating, so I done that. I bought myself,
so good.
I bought myself a 1,000-piece jigsaw.
Excellent.
Because I was like, we're not texting, we're not thinking. And I was so fixated on this jigsaw that I think it took me months, because my mum would be like, can we have the table back for some dinner now? And I'd be like, oh yeah. To the point, I got a jigsaw roll mat. So you can roll it up, come back to it. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But it's just what I needed, because I just needed to not have my phone, have my fingers do something else. Probably now I could throw myself into loads of passion projects. But at the time, it was it just needs to take it hour by hour. And we'll just see how we go.
That's the healthiest response I've ever heard to a breakup. Ever.
I won't lie. Because of this breakup, and I think because of all the other breakups I've had, I was like, this one has to be different. It has to be, because I'd recognised the patterns that had happened in previous ones, and I was like, I'm just not doing that anymore.
Oh, see? She's so good. So inspirational. Honestly, I went through my breakup. It wasn't last year, was it? Can't remember. It's all blurred into one since God. Whenever it was. And I don't think I allowed I was very sad, but I was very harsh on myself for being sad. And now I look back and I'm like, first thing I should have done was take time off work.
Yeah, fair.
Because how they expect you to work when you're going through a breakup, I have no idea.
I know.
It was hell. I pretty much almost lost my job, I think. It was bad. I was in the trenches.
Oh my God. And it just takes so much out of you.
And of your brain. I couldn't focus on stuff. And I said before, I started a new job the same time I had a breakup. So it was just and I moved out. So it was all at the same time. So it was just so much to deal with. And then I had my mid-year review, and it didn't go great, obviously. But I really thought at the time, I was like, maybe I'm just not cut out for this job then. Maybe I just can't do it. And then I was like, but I've never had a bad work review before.
Yeah.
So I was like,
you got to connect the dots.
Something's not adding up. So then after that, I was like, right, sort yourself out. And then literally I was like, I've been told, I was like, you're like a different person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, obviously it's because I just needed time.
Yeah.
You need to take
100%.
the time.
You do need the time. And I think Sinead Hegarty has said it, this was years ago, where workplaces should actually offer leave for breakups. Yeah. Because whether you were married or not, it's all distressing, especially when you're having to move and try and figure out your new life. You need that time to process.
Yeah. My friend's really stressed at the minute. She's just moving. And I'm saying to her, it's one of the most stressful things you can do. So doing that, breakups, it's like grieving
oh my
a
God.
person, grieving life. Yeah, awful. Did he try and reach out straight away?
Do you know, it's been so long, I can't even remember, because I think I was the one who reached out just to say, I've been to the house, I've moved my stuff out, this is where we need to go next. And I don't think he responded for a while, because then I remember I had to ring his sister to be he's not answering, I need this done. And looking back now, I think, oh my God, you actually shouldn't have said it. And I think I went into full detail about what happened.
With his sister.
And I was like, oh my God, if that was me now, I'd be I would never want to know.
I think it's a normal reaction, and lots of people do that. I think it's because you feel like you've been fooled by him, so you kind of want to show out what he's saying. I think it's common.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yes,
I feel justified now.
Yeah. Lots of people write in and then I told his mother or whatever, because normally the family and stuff are just a shock. So you need somebody to understand the shock.
Oh my
God.
You. Yeah. But I think on this one, I was just like, I just need you to know because this is why this is happening.
Yeah.
And this is what I
fault,
need. Yeah.
Just him.
Yeah. I don't know. He might blame me for half of it and I can take responsibility for that.
That's because you're a grown and a big person.
I've done a lot of reflecting.
It's weird because you said, obviously I do believe, like, I can tell we're very spiritual. So obviously I believe you had the intuition to go, but did you actually have thoughts that something was up?
Yeah. I think, oh my God, if I look back now, I think maybe we shouldn't have even got together. Because, and this will always stick with me, they're not butterflies, it's anxiety.
Yes.
And that is what I got from our very first date. And I thought, oh my God, like, I'm just nervous and this and that. And then as the time has gone on, or, red flags start to appear. I'm not saying I'm a full fluorescent green flag. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying, like, things started to... from his side pop out and I was like, oh, right, maybe my body knew before my head knew.
Yeah.
And I think I was trying to convince myself, like, being in my late 20s, my friends were all getting married, they were having babies, and I think I was just kind of in this whirlwind of like, no, I can make this work. And eventually it could not work at all. And I think it was never meant to, unfortunately, was never meant to be anything.
Thank God it happened though, because do you think you would have... done the move without that happening?
Do you know, I actually don't know. And I think if there's one thing that's got to come out of it is the amount of, I don't want to say personal development that came out of it. And like, I've not really been in a relationship since then until recently.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, we'll just drop that one in there. We'll just drop that one in.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll go back to that shortly.
Until now, I have just been like the tiniest red flag. I'm like, no, that's it. You're off. Bye. And I've not seriously dated anybody. But I think it's definitely been one of those things where it made me reevaluate who I was, the person, my values, what I want out of life. And I think had I have not had this epiphany, it would have never happened. Turns out it could have been Saturn's return as well. So
yes, well, I spoke about that recently. I had a TikTok astrologer on, and she was like, the Saturn return is very real, and it happens when we're older as well.
Yes,
but she said it's not as intense.
Oh, thank God, because I don't think I could go through that again. Because it was wild. Yeah.
And just switching back as well, when you say about the anxiety, I'm sure it was on like last week or the week before, I said about that as well, because I used to get that. When I was younger, I remember like before I was dating somebody, before I couldn't even eat, I was like so nervous, and I used to think that was such a good thing.
Yeah, and it's not.
It's absolutely not. And then when you meet somebody, like, it's excitement and anxiety are close, but they're very different. Like the way they feel is close, but they're different things. And when you meet somebody and you can be excited, but you're very calm with them, and you can be yourself straight away. Yeah. That's the biggest.
Yes, which is what I'm learning at the moment. So that's quite nice. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, no, I'm going to pin that a minute because I'm following your path.
Yeah, that's fine. You go for it.
So you do that. You're in self-development. Eventually you go to Australia. Now, from what I know recently, you were in the outback.
Yes.
Which, how intense is that?
It's definitely a different experience. I mean, I gave up my whole life on the East Coast. When I first got to Australia, I was like in Queensland, and I'd slowly worked my way down, and I ended up in Sydney. And by that point, I was like, I want to live the city girl life again. And I'd done it for about, maybe 8 months, something like that. And I was like, right, I want a different adventure. And then I went to the outback, and it was just completely different. Like,
oh my God,
no Uber Eats. No hairdressers, no nail salons. Like, you see those films and somebody gets dropped off in the middle of nowhere. A bit like, Hannah Montana when she goes back home and she's like got this field and the horses and everything.
I've never seen Hannah Montana.
No!
I know.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to have to think of a different reference.
Well, most of my references are horror films for the outback.
Very, very different. Well, I didn't have any horrors, so we're okay on that one. It was just... I don't even know how to explain it, because it's just a different world in the sense of you're just stripped of like a lot of amenities, but like you still get your Amazon delivery and all that type of stuff. It might take a little bit longer. It takes like 2 weeks to get there.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Wow.
And where I was recently, you don't even get like the postman to come to your house. They deliver it to the post office. You have to go and pick it up. Like, it's just very different, but it's very like, not humbling, that's not the word for it. It's just a different way of being.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm so much more relaxed from it. But as soon as I go back to the city, the first thing I do is I get Uber Eats. I get my Amazon Prime. Like, I just do all those things.
Yeah.
And then I just go back, and then it's like that for 10 weeks, and then you can go back to the city for 2 weeks. But would I stay in the outback forever? I don't know about that one, just because I love being by the beach. And it's like literally this, the middle, the centre. You've got your creeks and things like that, but it's just a very different way of living.
Oh my God, I can imagine. Did you date there? That was a silly question.
So on my TikTok, so I've been in the outback twice. I done one which is like just east of Perth, and then I done one which was east of Broome. And when I was in the one east of Broome, I went on Hinge, and this must have been like in the wet season. In 100 and something kilometre radius was one person.
Oh my God.
So you can imagine there was not a lot to choose from.
Yeah. What was that one person like?
I couldn't tell you because I didn't entertain it. They were nowhere even near me, and I wasn't driving 4 hours away to the closest coffee shop to go for a sit down. Because like normally I'll go for a coffee and a chat.
That's your first date, babe.
Yeah, and if I'm not enjoying it, we can cull this by like 45 minutes.
Wow.
Maybe 45 is a bit too strong.
Oh, that's good. But I need to know how you end a date like that.
I just I normally cushion it by letting them know like, oh, I've got a hairdresser's appointment, or I've got like some other appointment that I can run off to.
Smart.
But if I'm enjoying it, I'll be like, oh no, it's fine. I've cancelled, it's all right. But it doesn't happen very often, Sadie. Like, I'm not like an extreme dater at all.
Yeah.
But that would be like the ideal, because I'm not one of them to just go straight into like an activity. Like a coffee and a walk is absolutely fine, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, my dating experiences pre my last relationship weren't really like that. They were always like long and drinks and dinner. I'm like,
Do you know what? The funny thing is, before I think my previous relationship, they went on for very long, because I remember once when I lived in Bath, I went on this one date, and he was a hairdresser, and I remember thinking, oh my God, I love hair. I wanted to be a hairdresser at one point. Like, I'm sure we'll have loads in common. Oh my God. And I didn't know how to end it.
Yeah, that's why I would struggle with.
And I think the date went on for about 3 or 4 hours. And I was just like, oh my God. And it did get to a point where we ran out of things to talk about. So you just be like,
oh God,
there's nothing worse.
That for me is the end. Yeah, is the ending. And I don't remember being on one, I've probably said before. I knew honestly within the first like probably 10 minutes that, it wasn't going to be anything. Yeah. I ended up on a night out with him. This was a long time ago, so I do think age has something to do with it now. Like, I would not do that now.
No, I wouldn't.
I just wouldn't.
I couldn't.
You do get better at saying no and stuff, but I think I would still struggle with being like, okay, I'm gonna go. I would just feel so bad,
Yeah, no.
But that's not the right way to be, and that's not. Yeah. That's not in why I should.
But I think again, like, it comes with learning, because I think I had again looked at things to do with dating from my personal development, and I was just like, right, if that's what I can do, if I can cushion it somehow, and then it's kind of, there's no obligation on either side. He thinks I've got plans, all right, whether I do or not, but I can give myself the space to actually think about, well, do I actually want to spend more time with him or not? And then if not, you've only lost like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. And I am big on not wasting time now.
Yeah.
So I do think if I was, I would probably do things differently now. I like to think, but...
Well, do you know what? Experience is a lesson, so,
45 minutes would still be a record for me, but we'll see how that goes. So how did it end in the outback then?
So because my visa was coming to an end, they had offered to sponsor me, but it was like for 4 years, and I was like, I don't know if I can stay in this environment for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I knew I didn't have a lot of time, and it was one of those things I had to really kind of back myself again, because I felt if I was going to take the sponsorship, I was going to come from like a mentality of scarcity and lack and just like desperation. Whereas the visa that I have applied for, it's all in my ball. The ball is in my court, basically. So I was like, I feel a lot more happier with that. And like, you know, like sometimes some things just have to come to an end. I was like, maybe I just need to come home, regroup. And I keep talking to people and I'm like, oh, I want to do a nail course and I want to do a hair course and I want to do all these types of things. I was like, I can't do that in the outback.
No.
So if I come home and I do those things, I can then go back, make a pretty penny, and then just see what happens. And by this point, I'd started seeing somebody and I was just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And again, I had to really sit with myself because I was like, I do not want to make a decision based on my emotions. I need to think a bit more rationally and like trust my gut on this one.
My favourite thing about you, honestly, is that you listen to your gut and then you trust yourself. And I think that does come from doing the stuff you're frightened of and then it being okay. And then you're like, I've made the right decision, and because you're okay with it. And then when you build the trust for yourself, because I've heard like other people talk about how important it is to build trust. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And then you trust yourself, and then it's like, you know, you can handle it, and then you get better at making decisions.
100%. And I think it all just takes practice, because even while I was in Australia, I made some pretty poor decisions. You know, I went to the Gold Coast, I didn't listen to my gut. It all kind of became a bit shambolic, to be honest with you. But I've learned from that. And again, when my head and my heart kind of don't fight with each other, it's a lot better. But sometimes I have to really just sit with it, meditate on it, and then just see where we go from there.
That's what you do, meditate.
Yeah.
Do you ask yourself the question in your head, or do you just sit and wait for thoughts to come to you?
Sometimes I wait for the thoughts to come. Sometimes I'll meditate and nothing happens, as in like thought-wise. But maybe it'll come to me later. But like sometimes I just know deep down that I just, what's the word? Like my gut would be screaming. So like if I think about being sponsored and I sat with it, everything in my body was screaming not to do it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, right, well, I don't know for what reason, but I'm just going to have to follow it and I'm just going to have to trust it.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest part sometimes is, you know, I always say that, it's like you always know when your gut will tell you, but sometimes when you haven't got the answers why, that's when I think it gets confusing. You're like, but it makes sense that I'm here and everything is going to be laid out for me. So, and you haven't got the answer, and then that's why I think it's easy to...
And that is what happened in the Gold Coast. So for all the listeners, I'd already been in Australia like maybe 6 months by this point, and I'd had all these signs from the universe being like, the Gold Coast, and I was like, right, everyone's going to Melbourne, but I'm going to go to the Gold Coast. And I was just like, no, I'm hell-bent, I'm going. And people were like, have you ever been to the Gold Coast? And I was like, no, but I'd never been to Australia until I got there, so it doesn't really matter. Right, okay, you do know we're all going to Melbourne, like you'll be by yourself. Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fine. I can make friends wherever I go. It's going to be fine. I turned up. I threw up as soon as I got there.
Oh my God.
I was so stressed.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I think by that point I was like, oh, I've messed up here. I've
that TikTok sign. And in that moment, she knew she
yeah. And it was to the point, like, I was in a hostel. I was on the top bunk and I was like, I really don't feel good. Do not feel good. Threw up. Went back to bed, had this almighty headache, and my friend was like, go in the salt water, like that'll help to cleanse. I don't know if you've ever been to the Gold Coast or Australia.
No.
The sea is not that calm. All right? So like, I'd be like bashing on, I'd be like, cleanse me, please. I was like, I need to feel something. And I think, it kind of was not what I was expecting to happen. I couldn't find a job. I'd completely missed the season because they were like, even though they're a beach town, their busy season was like Christmas time, New Year's. I came after New Year's. So they were like, it's not going to be that busy. Like, we don't have a lot of jobs going. And I was like, oh my God. And I ended up doing work for a com in a hostel, and I was living with 13 other people. Yeah.
Oh no, so that's my worst nightmare.
And I won't lie, it was funny because I'd lived in hostels pretty much my whole Australia journey for the first year and a half. that was fine. But the fact that I couldn't get a job anywhere and I was applying, and literally every day I'd wake up, I'd apply for jobs, go and hand my CV out. I've not needed to hand a CV out since I was 16.
Yeah.
So at 33, it was a very humbling experience to have to go to these restaurants.
Oh my God, yeah.
And the one interview I did get was for a barista job. Now, I'm no barista, okay? But I thought, I've got a coffee machine. How bad can it be?
Mm-hmm.
And the feedback was, go home and work on your milk skills. So, yeah, and I think now I can definitely make a better cup of coffee, but like Australians just have a different standard for their coffee.
Right.
And I definitely notice it coming back to the UK as well, that it is completely different. And I even have a joke with my mum, because I would like go someplace and I'm like, they need to practice their milk skills.
What are milk skills, like when they do that?
So like it's the coffee art, but like the way
Yeah.
that you heat up the milk.
Right.
And it's supposed to be like, I don't know, whether this man was just taking me for an absolute fool, I don't know, but he was like, it needs to swirl in the jug and it needs to like not make much noise. It needs to be glassy, and then you need to do the art. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't think this is for me, but I needed a job. And then I think it got to maybe week 4 and I was like, right, I can't do this. I was like, I need to sort something else out. The hostel company that I used to work for had a location like maybe 2 hours up the coast, and I was like, right, I'm just going to apply there. I'm just going to see what happens. Eventually I got a job there, and as I got on the Greyhound leaving the Gold Coast, all these job offers came through, and I was like, I knew it. I absolutely knew this is not where I'm supposed to be. Oh my God. And I think it was one of those moments where I was like, sometimes you just can't be somewhere for too long. You've just got to trust that you've just got to move somewhere else. Yeah. And then where I ended up going to, I ended up staying there for 5 months, so that I knew I'd made the right decision.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is now I do not move somewhere unless I've got a job lined up.
Okay.
Because the Gold Coast was a very rude awakening.
That's good, because I feel like so far this episode I'm like, yes, it's like so inspiring. We're like, quick to move abroad. You're like, actually just do line up a job.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of plan.
Safety there.
Yes, because that was another thing. Like after Christmas, I had like no money. So at 33, I was having to ring my parents and being like, can you wire me some money? Like I'm really struggling. Like I think at one point I was literally eating like, my mum and dad will die if they ever hear this, but I was eating like cold sachets of rice because I like did not have enough money to like get all this food. My mum and dad would be like, we would have given you more money. Yeah, like it would have been fine. But I was like, I didn't contact them until I was at like my full breaking point. So I was like, no, I'm going to do this. Like I'm 33, I can do this. And then I got to a point I was like, actually, I do need some help. And I've got a lot better at actually asking for help now as well. So it's all just a learning curve.
Comes from, that comes from work.
Yeah.
I do think I find it hard to ask people for help as well, but also gets better with, work and with age. And also, like, I'm sure you're the same. You're willing to help anybody, you know. Somebody reached out to you who you were close to and said they were stuck. You'd help them.
Oh my God,
so it's like, people will help you and they will be willing to help.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. I was so embarrassed because I was saying to everyone, I was like, no, I'm going to the Gold Coast. The universe has told me I'm supposed to go there. And now I'm like, shit, this has not worked out how I thought it was going to. It's a humbling experience, it really is.
So what came first, the silent retreat or the new relationship?
The new relationship came first.
Okay,
yeah. So this was in Australia.
I'm going to top myself up first. I'll top you up.
It's like, oh God, I don't even know where to begin on this one. So basically, I'd moved and I'd gone to this quiz night, and one of my friends from Dubai, she was also in this school. This is how I got the job. So her and her boyfriend moved over, and they were like, come and have, like we've got jobs going in our school. And I was like, right, brilliant. I know people there, it's going to be absolutely fine. So then on my second day of working, bearing in mind, like when people introduce you, you can't really remember everybody. Mm-hmm. And we laugh about it now because me and him were talking about it a few weeks ago. And I was like, oh, when I first saw you, like, I thought you were dead good looking. And he's like, yeah, I thought that with you. And I was like, yeah, in the pub. He was like, no, in the staff room when we got introduced. I was like, I don't remember. I was like, I do not remember that at all.
That's funny enough, because if that was the other way around with me and a guy and he was like, oh, I can't remember meeting you in the staff room was the pub, I'd be like, sorry? Yeah. Excuse me. You do it, I'm like, oh, so funny.
No, I was very confident. I was like, the first time I saw him was in the pub, and he's like, no, you met me in the staff room. I was like, I don't remember that. I was like, I remember someone completely different, it wasn't you. And he's like, okay, that's fair. We were going on a weekend away, and like by this point I'd only known him like maybe a few hours, but I was like, oh yeah, he's kind of hot, like whatever, didn't really think much about it. Then we went on a weekend away, and then somebody was like, oh, do you know like that he's polyamorous? And I was like, no.
Hang on, you went on a weekend away as a
like
group?
As a group,
okay.
Yeah. So then when we were in the car, we were chatting, somebody was like, oh, do you know like he's polyamorous? And I was like,
confirm what polyamorous is for everyone,
right?
And a little bit for me. That's just in case nobody knows.
So, oh my God, I don't want to really mess this up now, but basically he has more than one partner.
Okay.
So it's all very open.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really say much about it because I only know from like my experience with him,
mm-hmm.
but he does have more than one partner, including me at the moment. He has 4.
Okay.
Yeah, would you think that's actually kind of bold to like be able to keep track of all these people?
Partners?
Yeah. And I do take my hat off to him because I struggle with one, and the fact that he can do all this and keep all these people happy,
Absolutely.
I'm like, do you know what? Fair play to you. But at that point,
can I just say that means there's no excuse for men, any men that's listening that's like, oh, I was just so busy, I forgot to text you back. No, there's people out there that have got 4 people in relationships with 4 people.
Yeah.
So sort yourself out.
Just a side note.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that point I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to pursue anything like that's like completely way out of my territory.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've never had that. No. Like that would be like, for me, if somebody said that, I've never had that. So you
like the only experience I have of anything like that doesn't even come from me. Was, do you ever used to watch Made in Chelsea?
Yeah.
So they went to New York, and Rosie Fortescue went, if that's her name, I can't remember. She went on a date, and he said he was polyamorous. And obviously at that point I was like straight on to Google, like, what does this mean? And then didn't re-enter my life until a few months ago. Right. But at that point I was like, right, okay, there's no point pursuing it. And then weeks rolled on, and we, you know, as a community, you'd go to like games nights, and like you'd go to somebody's house for dinner. So like you'd see each other quite often, and we'd built a friendship. And then he texted me one day and was like, oh, do you want to go for a walk, and like I'll cook dinner, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, great, we're friends. Like, yeah, this is fine. No, it was a date and I didn't know.
Well, I have said a lot that I don't think, and this might be a hot take, I don't think men will be best friends or will be friends with a girl unless they're interested in her in another way.
Do you think so?
That's my take on it. I think they can maybe like meet somebody and be friends, but I think if they're actively like pursuing a friendship like that, like come over, I'll cook for you, I think they're always going to have an ulterior motive.
Well,
that's my belief.
I was naive. I just thought, oh my God, he's so lovely. Like, yeah. And the thing is, because we're both vegetarian, I was just like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. Like, I'll go over, it'll be fine. And
We've
then
all been there. But you'll always get, 99% I think, you'll always get proven, oh, it was a date. Because that's the same thing happened to me. I was like, oh, it's so nice. Oh no, he actually is just...
Yeah, and it has happened to me before with somebody else where they've been like, oh, do you want to go out? We'll have a few drinks, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, no problem. And then, because we went mini golfing, and the woman was like, oh, do you want to pay together? Do you want to pay separately? And I was like, oh, no, pay separately. And he was like, oh. And I was like, oh, this is the date. And I didn't know. Oh.
You know what happened to me, right? This guy, I must have said this story as well. This guy asked me to play badminton. Such a friendly activity. Yeah. And we worked together at the time. We'll die if he ever hears this, by the way. He was also fuming with me, so I'd probably like be clicking in and keyboard warrioring me. Anyway, asked me to badminton. I was like, what a friendly guy welcoming me into this new job. No, then it was like dinner after, and then you just like get the vibes, and I was like, oh my God. I felt so awkward by the end of it. I think he leaned in to kiss me. I literally didn't know what to do. I thought I can't have any contact with him. So I literally just went down the street. Okay, see you tomorrow. And turned around and went.
Oh my God.
I cannot do this. And yeah, so that's my experience. Anyway, sorry.
Because I'm just trying to think now. Yeah, so we went
over his.
So yeah, we went and he cooked for me. And like we were watching Black Mirror, so we were just watching together, and I thought, oh, right, by this point I was like, right, yeah, this is definitely a date. It was actually, I am going to put my like thing out there and just say it's probably one of the best dates I've been on. It was so nice, just like the way that it was all set up. It was just very natural, and he's got like these conversation cards, like we really got to know each other.
Nice.
And that's one of the things I do actually really like about him, is like he actively gets to know people.
Well, that's a choice, isn't it? Like to have the cards and stuff, that's, like you say, it's actively wanting to know more about you.
Yeah.
Not having just surface level conversation.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that was someone that I was always looking for in a person anyway. So I was like, oh my God, I've hit the jackpot here. And then I was still kind of battling with myself. So he went in to kiss me and I kind of just went, oh. I was like, I think I'm looking for something monogamous. And he's like, that is fine. I was like, I'm going to go home now then. He's like, okay.
Really?
And and I just kind of stood my ground on that one.
Before that point, had he spoken himself about being polyamorous with you? Or was it more just like, because obviously you got told by somebody else?
Yeah, and so he had spoken about it because we had gone, where had we gone? We'd gone to the rodeo and we had spoken about things, part of the outback life. We had spoken about him and his partners, and I think it was just because I was so intrigued, so I would just ask questions. Now I ask even more questions. But yeah, I fully like knew about them, and like I'd known about his situation and things.
Okay.
But I think I was kind of just like, by this point I was like, no, like that's completely out of my territory. I'm going to try and keep myself like level-headed on this one, and I'm just going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few weeks went by, and like we were still friends, and then recouped and were like, right, let's watch Black Mirror. And I was like, yeah, because I have said I just want monogamous and I want to be friends. And then we'd spent like a whole weekend of just like, he'd cooked me dinner, then I'd gone round and had like breakfast, but again I was just like, it's fine because we're friends. But
and
then
you've told him,
so it's all fine. And as the weekend was going, I was a bit more like, And then so that was like on the Friday and the Saturday, and then by the Sunday we were watching White Lotus, and then he went in to kiss me, and I was just like, oh, do you know what? Because at this point I was like, I think I've only got a few weeks left. Like we might as well have some fun, because there was no rules being broken or anything. It was absolutely fine. I was like, right, let's go for it. And then it all just kind of, it kind of escalated. It took a step back and then it escalated again, because he then went away and I went away on holidays, and I was like, again, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is for me.
It's completely new.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's just kind of opened me up in ways that I was like, God, I thought I was really grown, and this is really not showing me. I thought I had really good communication skills. Turns out I'm shocking. I'm actually shocking sometimes.
I'm shocked to hear
that. Yeah. So that's been a bit of a learning curve. But I was like, after the holidays, I was like, right, we're not going to see each other. I was like, I don't have a visa. I'm not staying. Like, I just don't need any more complications. And then 2 days later, I was round his house again. And I was just like, oh, I really...
Sorry, that's so relatable.
I was like, on this one, I just can't, I don't know. I was like, I think I just threw all caution to the wind, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But a bit like magnets, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like... And also it sounds like, obviously, you've probably had ins and outs, obviously, that you haven't spoken about, but it sounds to me like you've had a very, healing journey, and sometimes you've just got to have a bit of fun. And just think it's all well and good, being level-headed all the time. Sometimes you just need to just kiss the boy back.
Exactly. And you know what? I think
just see where that
I really needed to lean into this one. Like I was obviously a bit like this and then like this, but it all just kind of worked its way out. Like it was all fine. And I think if anything, whatever happens in the future now, like we've had multiple discussions about, like, I've said to him, I don't know in what aspect you will ever be in my life, but I know I want you in my life for like as long as possible. Even just in like a friend capacity, because I think I really do need those level-headed people around me.
Yeah.
But he's such a kind, caring, like he's so attentive, and like even just as a friend, he's just such a nice person. Like I just can't say it enough. And he will be listening to this at some point. So
Okay, many questions. Obviously, I didn't know this, so it's a big bombshell.
Ask away.
Okay, the first thing, did you feel, or do you feel like going and telling your friends, you know, about that situation, or your family? I mean, I don't know if you have told your family, but you know, did you feel like, because that's not a very common situation, did you feel, well, how did you feel, I suppose, about telling them, and what were their reactions like?
So with some of my friends, so like 2 of my friends worked in the same school, so they already knew. That was like a no-brainer, and also they know him at that point. So they know us both completely separate, so that was fine. Then I went back to Sydney on holidays, and I was telling everybody, and they were just kind of like, okay. I was like, I don't know how I got into this, and they were like, yeah, but it's okay. Like, if it makes you happy, it's fine. Yeah. And that's kind of the reaction I've had from all of my friends, because I told one of my friends a few weeks ago, and she was like, yeah, this doesn't surprise me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like...
That's interesting.
Yeah, she was like, not so much as in like, how can you put it? She was just like, because you're so open-minded and you're quite spiritual, she was like, as long as you're not going to get hurt, like, it's all fine. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's good. And like, I think one of the things I have to do with this is like check in with myself all the time, and like I communicate with him, and like we'll have like conversations and stuff. And obviously being I don't even know if it is long distance or pen pals or what's going on right now, but
so he's obviously still in Australia.
Yeah, he's from Australia, so he'll be there for however long. But like all my friends have just said, like, as long as you're happy, it doesn't really matter.
No, that obviously is the most important
thing. My God, yeah. And I mean, like, it's so funny because when I came back from Australia last year, because my dog was ill, so I was like, right, I'm going to come back for a couple of months, spend time with her. Within one day, I had 5 people ask me, have you met somebody yet? And I was like, no. Yeah, and it really annoyed me. Now I've come back this time, even though I've met somebody, not a soul has asked. Because I think I'd expressed such disdain for people asking me when I don't.
Oh, and there's nothing worse when you met somebody. Anyway, if I met somebody exciting, I want to tell everyone about them. I'm like, let me tell you about this person I met. So you're like ready for the questions.
And they just haven't come. But like today now, I said to my mum, I was like, oh, I'm going on a podcast. Like, I'm going to talk about like my dating. And she was like, all right, what's that? Because like I didn't know where any of this was going to go. So like anyone that I had to speak to on the phone, I was like, oh, I'm going home soon and I can just tell them then. So obviously I told my mum, like, oh, you know, I was dating this guy. And she's like, oh, and what happened then? And I was like, I came home. And she's like, oh, yeah. But like, doesn't know, she probably will when she listens to this podcast. I will have to tell her. She doesn't know about like the whole polyamorous situation right now, because I feel like that's probably more of a conversation that needs to be had. Or it doesn't, I have no idea. She may have many questions, I don't know.
Yeah, I think probably like the older people go, the newer it'll be to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's a newer concept, so there's probably like more questions and stuff. I was having this conversation the other day, right, that I think everybody is so against cheating, rightfully so, it's heartbreaking and all the rest of it. But everybody goes through it, whether they've done it or whether they've been cheated on. At some point in their life, I think it happens to everyone in some capacity, which makes me think that it probably isn't natural for us to be with one person, at least not one person forever.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think, and people who I've spoken to, most people would agree, that means they could do something else, because they'd be like, it's like if it's you know it doesn't mean anything. So like I still think you can be in love with one person and then go and meet somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I'm mostly talking about cheating, so I know it's different, but then thinking, like separating the two things basically. But the issue for me, and I think for most people, would be that the other person being with somebody else.
From my point of view, like, it obviously was something that I went into, and I think I might have semi-made a conscious decision in it. I think some part of me was just like, yeah, this is just going to be a bit of fun, not realising how well we were going to connect and like how much time we were going to spend together, because it got to a point where it was like being in Love Island. Like, we were intensely together for 5 weeks, and then I left. So like there's all that thrown into it. But like, if anything, it's been confronting in ways of like, yes, I know about his partners, but for me, they were in Melbourne. So for me, I was like, all right, yeah, you go home and you see them. And then one of them flew up to see him. And I was like, oh, not because of the person, but I was like, oh, that's where I was. And now somebody else is there.
Yeah.
And I think it was more the situation. And I spoke to him about it. I was like, I'm not jealous of a person. I was jealous of a situation.
Yes.
But it took me 5 weeks to realise that I might have been jealous of a situation.
Yeah.
But I think if anything, it's like, it's more head-on confronting in ways that like I'd not experienced before. Because sometimes I think when I've had partners before, I've been able to be like passively aggressive, like it's fine. Or I can just brush it under the carpet. Whereas like with this, there's no brushing anything under the carpet. Like I've got to go through it all. So I don't know, like whether this is just a short-term thing for us, I think it'll make me better if I go into another relationship, even if that is like, because I'm monogamous to him right now.
Yeah.
Because I do not have the time to be dating anybody else. Well, I say that now, we don't know, but for me right now, that it's not my thing.
I think what you said there is interesting, that even if this is short term, is teaching you different stuff for maybe other relationships or for the future. That is interesting. I'm honestly listening to you and I'm thinking, wow, I'm a crazy bitch.
No, trust me, because
I just know myself. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Could I be into relationships myself? Yes. Could he? No.
And do you know what? It is one of those things. The more I learn about people just in general, I don't know if everybody is cut out for monogamy. Like,
no, but that's what I mean. Like with the cheating, it happens to so many people. I'm like, there's gotta be something in this. Just like...
But with this, like, I don't know if it's comfort that I take from this or it's just admiration for the whole situation. But like everything is so out in the open. There's no guessing game.
Yes.
Everything is very clear.
Yeah.
And I think if any of those bits, all right, I mean, like, I might say to him, like, oh, do you want to do something? And he might be like, oh, no, I've got a call and I can't. And I'd be like, all right, okay then. Like, I don't have to like it, but like, that is not my situation. Do you know what I mean? So like, and it's not that I don't have to like it, but you have to respect it. Do you know what I mean? So like, that's him. That's who he is as a person.
Upfront from the start.
Yeah, and he's so upfront. And I think that's a different with other situations where things are so like hid behind the curtains. Like everything is out, everything's open. And but I think from the communication point of view, I'm definitely learning a lot about myself.
Yeah.
Where I have sat with myself most recently and gone, like you say, I'm a crazy bitch. Like and the thing is, like, I've gone so many years thinking, I'm so grown, I'm so developed, I'm so ready for a relationship. Oh my God. Like, and I think with him, I find it so, I don't know if easy is the right word for it, but safe in the fact that like I can say something to him and he'll be like, okay, let's talk about it.
Oh,
and like I'm really there, like, what is going to happen? And he's like, okay, let's talk about it. Like, he's so emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, that's really good.
And it's just, everything is just very easily done. Like, I can literally blow up. Like, there's no denying I can probably, like, my communication skills aren't good, but I'm very good at reflecting. So, like, I can take that, but sometimes I'm just like, why can't I just say how I feel without sounding like an absolute bitch? And I'm learning, and I am learning. So
it's hard, though.
Yeah, God.
Expressing how you actually feel is really hard, because you've also, like, at least I care about how I come across, and it's just exhausting sometimes.
It really is. It actually is.
So, do you have in your future a goal of, like, being married, or, you know, stereotypical marriage with one person, kids?
So, God, it's kind of hard to answer, because some days I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to be married, and then other times, because I'm so used to being on my own, that I'm like, oh, maybe I do just need, you know, a friend. Do you know what I mean? Like,
this from, like, what I've heard sounds perfect for you now in the stage of life you are at the minute.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
yeah, because
definitely.
if anything, there's actually, I don't know, not as much pressure with me being here and him being there. And like, if anything, I totally know where I stand, as in like, when I first left, I was like, oh my God, I never know when I'm going to see him. Like, this is all going to be just chaotic. And now that I'm home, I'm like, all right, well, if he's not seeing me, I can go to Morocco next week if I want to. I can go to South Africa in the Easter holidays if I want to. Like, I can still do everything. But obviously, at some point, you kind of got to be like, all right, well, if I'm never going to go back to Australia, at some point, this has got to end. But you just never know, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think it's such a typical question to be like, and what's his goals? Because I'm just picturing if I said this to, you know, some of my friends, if it was me, they'd be like, yeah, but you want to get married, and does he ever want to get married? And then it's very easy to skip, I think, to the future needing an answer, but you can't plan forever. Even if he said to her, I want to get married eventually, and you said, okay, me too, just us two, does not mean it's going to happen.
No, oh my God, no. And like, there's so many things you can say you want to happen in the future. Like, we've had conversations, not saying that it's with the both of us, but like, he's been like, do you want kids? And I was like, oh God, I don't know. And like, I've really had to be honest, not because we're deciding we're going to have kids together or anything like that, but like, he was just asking generally, and I was like, I just don't know if it's on the cards for me, because I'm just so used to now being on my own, having my life a certain way.
Very free.
Yeah. And being the age that I am, I probably have only got like so many years left anyway. But I was like, do I really want to throw a kid into the mix? Oh, but then I would be open to fostering, adopting. So maybe it's just not a biological child that I want.
Yeah.
And maybe go down that route instead. But I think it's one of those things, like, you can think so far out, as you said, but you just don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah, and I have tried to lean into that more now, because sometimes it can stress yourself out.
Oh my God.
It's like hard. I find it hard to have a balance. Like, I don't just want time to fly by, you know, without some sort of plan, and then to the other side of like, I can overthink and stress a plan, and then it might just never come true anyway. So just try and relax a little bit and go with the flow.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so I have got a couple of questions.
Okay, go for it.
For all in or fold. This is a segment that we're doing on the pod, where I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you're going to say if you'd go all in with that person or if you're folding and you're leaving. Okay? So obviously these are the situations you're really happy. Yeah. Probably now you're really happy with somebody, but it might still be a bit early days.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You meet his mother and she kisses him on the lips. Fold. Every time.
Fold.
How weird would that be?
Immediately no. I've seen what I need to see. Immediately no. Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Okay. He has a girl best friend and they hang out a lot one-on-one.
Oh.
This one's quite hard, I think.
That is a hard one, because there are people who do have girl best friends, but I think it's of the sense of, for me, can I come? And if they're immediately like, no, I'll be like, well, you can't be doing this all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So it would, I don't know, and the thing is, you don't want to come across as like a controlling person and being like, you can only see them once a week. But like, I do have friends who are boys, but we don't live anywhere near each other anymore. So like, it's very different. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think what you answered, Joyce, I don't think it's crazy, because I also think it would be strange if your partner was always seeing their friends and never inviting you either.
Yeah.
Because when you're with somebody and you mesh in your lives, it's natural to say, oh, I'm going out tonight, we're going to a concert, you want to come, and let's get a group together.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same with both sexes, so I think there is an issue. I would think the same probably if they were always going with a guy friend all the time, and I could never meet that one friend.
Yeah, that would be a bit strange.
I might be thinking, oh, why?
Yeah.
Why are you keeping him from me?
Yeah, that's true, actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, if you can come along, then, it's all great.
Yeah,
but
again, like, not every time. But so it doesn't feel like you're shielding somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. You have each other on Instagram and his profile is full of topless gym selfies.
Fold. Yeah. I can't
do it. I know it's sexist because you know, will I be posting pictures of myself in a bikini? Yes. Do
Yeah.
I want to see you topless? No.
I think as
On
well,
Instagram.
though, like, from my point of view, I couldn't, just because clearly our values are different. Like, I don't know, maybe he spends way more time in the gym than I probably would. So, like, your time allowances are completely different.
True, good point.
Like, me being reflective.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, because you can't really tell somebody's personality from Instagram a lot of the time, because
true.
you know,
true.
it can be a highlight reel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, is he a personal trainer? Like, is he doing this for a reason? I don't really necessarily have to follow it, or you can mute it. But I don't know. I think it would be more of a thing of if they were asking me to take the photos and it was taking up a lot of my time, I'd be like, absolutely not.
Oh my god, that's probably like every boyfriend that I've ever had. Being like, finally a girl understands. And nobody wants to take pictures of you all the time. Well, I have to ask you what the silent retreat was like.
Oh, so it was good. It was really good to be fair. You know, like, obviously I'd left Australia and I had had my week in Canggu and I was like, this is not going well for me at all. Went to the silent retreat and I was like, right, I'm going to make a commitment to myself, because you could go there and you could go to the co-working space and you could like use your phone there and you could talk.
Okay, so it
wasn't completely silent. It was more like a digital detox.
Right.
But it was just so fascinating because, like, you knew nothing about anyone around you. So, like, twice a day you'd go for meditation, stretches, and just like a little gathering, but nobody could talk to each other. So I obviously came up with little nicknames. I was like, finance bros over there and so-and-so's over there. And like, you just don't know anything about them. Because there was this one lady and I remember seeing her. And then I went up to the co-working space to put my phone on charge. And she was chatting to someone. She's like, oh, I'm from Mexico. And I was thinking in my head, oh, I didn't have you down as that. Like,
I already thought I knew you.
Yeah, just from a little smile. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is funny how you can, just from seeing people, think, I think I know a bit about you, and I could be completely wrong. It's like the boy who I labelled finance bro. He might not be in finance at all. But yeah, I think it was so nice for me to just not have to speak to anybody, because I think I really needed that space between leaving Australia. And I think for the whole time I was there, even when I was in Dubai, I think I'd been like maybe 4 weeks. I think I was grieving a life that I'd had, even though it was my choice to leave. I was still grieving something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
that makes sense.
There was obviously a lot of things going on at the time. So it gave me a bit of space. But then as soon as I came out of the retreat again, I like reverted back to like whatever was going on 2 weeks ago. So it was almost like I thought I was going to go there, have like a massive epiphany, and like nothing happened. I was just so chill. We just journaled all the time. I went in with a notebook. It was half full by the time I left after 6 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because every thought just came down and I was like, right, we're just going to write it all out. I read, and oh my God, I read this book. Have you read it? It's called, so much I love the book, I can't remember the title. Oh my God, what was it called? Oh, Love Yourself So Much It Hurts, or something like that it was, right? That book just completely stood out to me, because there was one question in it, and I actually just take it now all the time and I think about it. If I truly, deeply love myself and want a beautiful life for myself, would I do this?
Oh my God.
I know, and I do.
Full body chills.
Yeah. I do think about it
amazing.
a lot now, especially like with me going into like a new phase again and trying to decide where I'm going to set up for the next year. I really had to sit with all of those things, and especially like where I am in this relationship as well. Like, I've spoken to him about this and I've said it in conversation, like, I actually don't know where this is going to go, but right now I'm happy to see, but this is the question at the forefront of everything that I like make a decision on now.
That's so good. I feel like that allows you to step back a little bit. Like, when you asked me that, I was thinking of answering it as if I was watching myself.
Fair.
You know, like kind of in a film, and you kind of like, what do you want? What should she do? Like,
yeah.
It allows you to take a step back and think rather than like blindly go into stuff. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I'm definitely going to use that.
And you know, it's like, it's a good one to use if you're going into like decisions, because I think sometimes we don't question our decisions.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we just like throw ourselves in, and sometimes that's what you've got to do. You've got to rip the Band-Aid off. But sometimes if it really does need a lot of thought, like, it's a good question to use. Somebody was saying they close their eyes now, they'll ask themselves a question. And I think it was, if they move back, the answer's no. And if they move forward, the answer's yes.
Oh.
And again, a lot of things, because even down to like where I was in Australia just a couple of weeks ago, I've used that on myself at different scenarios, and it's always been to move no. So like
Really?
for me not to move back, for me not to, and this is going to come a shock to a lot of people because I'm like, oh, I might come back. For me not to come back, for me to like move on. Like there's so many things that I've used for my life, and I'm just like, it's kind of an awakening, because you think you really know the answer, but sometimes your body knows better than your head.
Yes,
yeah.
I've said that before. So yeah, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. I think you've been amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm hoping that all the listeners can take some lessons.
Oh, well, I've definitely lived a real life, I think. So,
You definitely have.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I look forward to the next update.
Oh my God, I can't wait. It'll be a surprise for everybody.
Thank you.